My dears, a profound whisper for your heart today, a truth that can shield your precious light. There's a hidden tremor in our mornings, especially as we gather life's seasons. Please, stay with me, journey through this understanding, for the most vital wisdom, the key to many more sunrises, awaits you at the very end. You will want to hear this. Dawn's embrace. Oh, the morning. It arrives as a gift, doesn't it? A fresh page, unwritten, untouched by the day's fervor or its inevitable shadows. It's a sacred, tender time, this gentle unfolding from the realm of dreams into the world of wakefulness. Think of the light, how it tiptoes in, first a shy blush on the horizon, then a quiet spreading of gold, coaxing the world awake, not with a shout, but with a soft caress. Our bodies, these marvelous, intricate temples that house our spirits, they too crave this gentleness, this unhurried transition. After hours of repose, where the heart beats softly and the breath flows like a shallow stream, every fiber of our being is in a state of delicate renewal. It is a period of grace, a quiet interlude where the soul recalibrates, preparing to meet the demands and the joys that lie ahead. We are, in these moments, like newborn flowers, slowly unfurling our petals to the sun, still holding the dew of the night, vulnerable yet filled with the promise of blossoming. To rush this sacred unfolding is to misunderstand its profound importance, to deny ourselves the blessing of a truly harmonious start. The world outside will clamor soon enough, its demands will knock, its pace will quicken. But here, in the quietude of early light, we have the chance to anchor ourselves, to connect with the deep, still wellspring of peace within before the currents of the day begin to pull. This embrace of the dawn, this conscious, loving welcome to wakefulness is more than just a routine. It's a reverence for life itself, a recognition of the miracle that is another day bestowed upon us. It's a prayer unspoken, a meditation in motion or in stillness as we allow ourselves to simply be, to breathe, to gather our essence before stepping forth. Cherish these moments, my dears, for they are the foundation upon which the strength and serenity of your day will be built. They are the quiet prelude to the symphony of your hours, and how you conduct this opening passage matters more than you might imagine. It sets the tone not just for the body, but for the spirit, for the heart's capacity to love, and the mind's ability to perceive with clarity and compassion. Let the morning embrace you, and embrace it in return with the tenderness it so richly deserves. This is the first wisdom, the first step towards truly honoring the life that flows through you, a life that asks only for your gentle attention. The quiet miracle of waking is a profound dialogue between the body and the dawning day, a conversation that should be whispered, not shouted. Imagine the earth after a long still night, how it slowly warms, how the creatures stir with a natural unforced rhythm. Our inner landscape is no different. It requires that same patient, respectful awakening. For those of us who have gathered more than 60 seasons, this gentle transition becomes not just a preference, but a vital necessity, a crucial act of self-preservation. Our bodies, having served us faithfully through decades of striving, loving, and learning, bear the noble etchings of time. The vessels that carry our lifeblood may have grown a little less supple. The intricate dance of our internal systems might respond with a more measured cadence. This is not a failing, it is the testament of a life lived, a journey undertaken. But it does call for a deeper understanding, a more conscious partnership with this beloved self. The morning, then, is a time to listen with acute attention, to heed the subtle messages our body sends. It speaks in a language of sensation, of comfort or unease, of readiness or reluctance. To ignore these quiet pleas, to impose a jarring urgency upon a system that is delicately re-emerging from rest, is to invite discord. Think of a finely tuned instrument left in the cool stillness of the night. You wouldn't snatch it up and strike it harshly, would you? No, you would allow it to acclimate. You would warm it gently, prepare it to sing. Our bodies, these magnificent instruments of life, deserve no less. The embrace of the dawn is an invitation to this gentle attunement. It is an opportunity to cultivate a profound respect for the natural rhythms that govern our well-being, rhythms that become ever more crucial as we navigate the rich tapestry of our later years. This respect, this conscious gentleness, is a powerful form of love, a declaration that we value the vessel that has carried us so far and that we intend to cherish it for all the dawns yet to come. It's about recognizing the sanctity of this quiet re-entry into the world, ensuring that our first actions of the day are ones of kindness and care, setting a precedent of mindfulness that can ripple outwards, imbuing all our moments with a greater sense of peace and presence. Consider the wisdom inherent in nature's own awakenings. The sun does not leap into the sky, it ascends with majestic grace. Flowers do not burst violently from their buds, they unfurl with a delicate patience. This rhythm of gradual emergence is a fundamental principle of life, one that we, in our human haste, often overlook, especially in the seemingly mundane act of rising from our beds. But for the body, particularly a body that has known the passage of many years, this transition is anything but mundane. It is a complex physiological ballet, a series of adjustments that must occur in harmonious sequence. The shift from a horizontal resting state to an upright, active one involves a sophisticated interplay of blood pressure, heart rate, and neurological signals. When we are young, our systems are often resilient enough to absorb the shock of abrupt changes, bouncing back with an elasticity that can feel boundless. But as we age, this elasticity naturally modulates. The body, in its wisdom, prioritizes stability and conservation of energy. It asks for a more considerate approach, a more mindful engagement with its processes. The dawn's embrace, therefore, is not merely a poetic notion. It is a physiological imperative. It is the practice of allowing your internal environment the time it needs to recalibrate, to shift gears smoothly from the quiet hum of sleep to the gentle purr of wakefulness, and then, only then, to the steady engine of daytime activity. This period of quiet alertness before any significant physical movement is a crucial buffer. It allows the circulatory system to adjust, ensuring that the brain, that precious seat of our consciousness and identity, receives a steady, uninterrupted supply of life-giving oxygen and nutrients as we prepare to stand and greet the world. To honor this need is to work in concert with your body, not against it. It is to acknowledge that true strength, especially the enduring strength required for a long and vibrant life, is often found not in forceful action, but in wise restraint and gentle cooperation with the natural order of our being. This understanding transforms the simple act of waking into a profound ritual of self-care, a daily affirmation of our commitment to well-being, mind, body, and spirit. Hidden current. Beneath the surface of our daily lives, there often flow unseen currents, forces that can influence our well-being in ways we may not immediately perceive. And in the quietude of morning, as we hover in that delicate space between sleep and full awakening, one such current can gather surprising strength, particularly for those of us whose journey has been long and rich. I speak of a hidden peril, a vulnerability that often goes unacknowledged, precisely because it is linked to an action so commonplace, so seemingly innocuous, that we perform it without a second thought. Yet, this simple, unthinking act, committed in the nascent moments of a new day, can, for a body seasoned by 60 or more years, dramatically alter the landscape of health, inviting a shadow that no one wishes to encounter. It's not a failing of spirit, nor a weakness of character. It is rather a matter of delicate internal mechanics, of the body's intricate response to the call of gravity and the sudden demand for alertness after hours of peaceful horizontal rest. This hidden current is the potential for a swift, almost stealthy disruption within our own miraculous circulatory system, a system that works tirelessly, day and night, to nourish every cell, every thought, every dream. When we are young, this system often possesses a remarkable ability to compensate, to adapt almost instantaneously to our every whim and movement. But time, the great teacher, also brings with it changes, subtle shifts in the responsiveness and resilience of our internal architecture. The vessels that carry life's precious cargo may become a little less yielding, the signals that orchestrate the flow a little less swift in their transmission. These are not signs of defeat, but invitations to a deeper wisdom, a more conscious way of inhabiting these beloved bodies. The peril I speak of lies in wait, not in some external foe, but within the very transition from rest to action, if that transition is made with unthinking haste. It is a current that, if ignored, can pull one towards a frightening shore, a place where the vibrant energy of life is suddenly, terrifyingly diminished. Understanding this current, recognizing its potential, is the first step towards navigating it safely, towards ensuring that our mornings remain sanctuaries of peace and gentle beginnings, rather than unwitting invitations to risk. It's about bringing a loving awareness to what has perhaps been an unconscious habit and transforming that habit into an act of profound self-stewardship. This unseen current gains its power from a simple truth of physics and physiology. When we move from lying down to standing up, blood, by the force of gravity, naturally wants to pool in the lower parts of our body. Our magnificent system has a built-in response to counteract this, a rapid constriction of blood vessels and an increase in heart rate, all designed to ensure that our brain, perched at the very top, continues to receive its vital supply of oxygenated blood. It's an amazing automatic symphony that usually plays out perfectly, unnoticed. However, as the years grace us, this symphony can sometimes take a few extra moments to find its perfect rhythm. The musicians, if you will, might be a little slower to respond to the conductor's baton. Factors such as the natural stiffening of arteries, the potential for mild dehydration after a night's sleep, or even the side effects of certain medications that many of us rely on for other conditions, can all contribute to a more sluggish adjustment. This is where the hidden current reveals its potential for mischief. If the adjustment is too slow and the rise too sudden, there can be a fleeting moment where the brain doesn't receive quite enough blood, quite enough oxygen. For most, this might manifest as a brief spell of dizziness, a momentary lightheadedness that passes quickly. We might dismiss it as just a bit of a head rush, a minor inconvenience. But within that seemingly trivial event lies a warning, a whisper from the body that the current was almost too strong. For some, especially if other risk factors are present, this brief insufficiency can be more than just a fleeting sensation. It can be a trigger, a critical point of vulnerability that significantly, and I mean this with all the loving gravity it deserves, increases the risk of something far more serious, something that can steal away our faculties, our independence, our very essence. This is not meant to inspire fear, my dears, but to awaken a profound respect for the delicate balance within. Knowledge, when received with an open heart, becomes power. The power to choose actions that protect and preserve the precious gift of our vitality. The very nature of this hidden current is its stealth. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare or drama until perhaps it's too late. It's woven into the fabric of a habit, an ingrained pattern of movement that we've likely practiced for a lifetime without ill effect. Waking, feeling the urge to start the day and simply getting up, what could be more natural? Yet, it is precisely this natural impulse, untempered by the wisdom of our body's changing needs, that can become the conduit for this unseen peril. The risk is magnified after 60 because the cumulative effects of living, the subtle alterations in our physiological landscape, reach a point where our reserves of resilience may be thinner. Think of a riverbank that has been gently eroded over many years. It may still hold strong against the usual flow, but a sudden surge, an unexpected rush of water, might prove too much for it to withstand. Similarly, our cardiovascular system, after decades of faithful service, might manage the everyday demands perfectly well, but a sudden, sharp demand, like an abrupt change in posture upon waking, can act as that unexpected surge. The tripling of risk that physicians and researchers speak of is not a mere scare tactic. It is a sobering reflection of what can happen when this particular confluence of factors occurs: an aging physiology, a rapid postural change, and the potential for a momentary but critical dip in blood flow to the brain. This isn't about becoming fragile or fearful, it's about becoming more attuned, more intelligently kind to ourselves. It is about understanding that the strength of our later years lies not in denying the changes that time brings, but in adapting to them with grace and wisdom. This hidden current, once its nature is understood, loses much of its power to harm, because we can then choose to navigate it with simple, conscious adjustments to our morning routine, transforming a moment of potential vulnerability into an affirmation of self-care and continued vitality. The morning, that sacred time, need not be a source of anxiety, but a continued source of gentle renewal, if we but learn to honor the quiet language of our bodies. Bodies plea, oh, if only our bodies could speak to us in words as clear as a church bell on a Sunday morning. How much easier it might be to understand their needs, their gentle warnings, their quiet celebrations. But they do speak, my dears. They truly do. They speak in a language older than words, a language of sensation, of subtle shifts, of whispers in the heart and murmurs in the blood. And in the context of this morning risk we are exploring, the body sends out a distinct plea, a request for understanding and patience, especially as we navigate the waters beyond 60 years. This plea is often very quiet, easily dismissed amidst the rush to begin the day or the ingrained habits of a lifetime. It might be a fleeting sense of unsteadiness if we rise too quickly, a momentary dimming of vision, or that feeling of wooziness that we so often brush aside. These are not mere trivialities. They are communications, vital messages from within, signaling that the intricate systems responsible for maintaining our equilibrium and nourishing our brain need a little more time, a little more gentle consideration during that crucial transition from rest to upright activity. The body isn't asking for coddling, it's asking for respect for its processes. It's saying, beloved friend, I am still strong, still capable, but the way I achieve my tasks now requires a more mindful partnership with you. Give me a moment to adjust, to find my footing, to ensure that all is well before we embark on the day's adventures. This plea is particularly poignant after a night's rest, because during those hours of stillness, our circulation naturally slows. Our blood pressure typically finds its lowest point, and we might even be slightly dehydrated, all of which can make the system a little more vulnerable to sudden demands. To ignore this gentle entreaty to leap from bed as if startled is to essentially override the body's innate wisdom, to impose an external urgency that its internal mechanisms may not be immediately prepared to meet. And when that happens repeatedly, or under conditions of increased vulnerability, the plea can tragically turn into a cry of distress, a signal that the delicate balance has been tipped too far. Listening, truly listening to these subtle cues is an act of profound self-love and sagacity. It is acknowledging that this vessel, which has carried our spirit through so much of life, deserves our utmost care and attention, especially in the tender moments of its awakening each new day. The body's plea is rooted in the marvel of its own design, a design that strives ceaselessly for homeostasis, for balance. Consider the intricate network of nerves and receptors, the baroreceptors, that constantly monitor our blood pressure. When we are lying down, gravity's pull on our blood is distributed differently than when we are standing. As we rise, these receptors sense the change and signal the heart to beat a bit faster, the blood vessels to constrict appropriately, all to maintain that steady flow of blood upwards to the brain. This is a remarkable life-sustaining reflex. But like any finely calibrated system, its efficiency can be influenced by many factors. Age itself can bring about a natural decrease in the sensitivity of these baroreceptors, meaning their response might be a fraction of a second slower or perhaps a little less vigorous than in our youth. Certain medications, particularly those prescribed for high blood pressure, while essential for managing that condition, can sometimes modulate this reflex, making the adjustment to standing a little more challenging for the system. Even something as simple as not having had enough water the day before can lead to a slight reduction in blood volume, which means the heart has to work harder and the system has less margin for error when faced with a sudden postural shift. So, when the body sends that signal, a little dizziness, a brief moment of feeling off, it's not complaining without cause. It's providing valuable feedback. It's saying, the demand you just placed on me was a bit too sudden, a bit too much for me to compensate for instantaneously. Please, next time, let's do this more gently. This is not a sign of failure, but an invitation to adapt our behavior to support its ongoing magnificent work. Learning to interpret these signals, to honor this plea, is like learning the secret handshake of a dear friend. It deepens the relationship, builds trust, and ensures a more harmonious journey together. It is a dialogue, and our part in that dialogue is to listen with an open heart and respond with actions that affirm our commitment to its well-being. This plea, understood and heeded, transforms a potential moment of risk into an opportunity for conscious self-care. Imagine a trusted old friend who has walked beside you for many, many years. This friend, while still strong and full of wisdom, might now walk a little slower, might need a moment to catch their breath after a climb, might appreciate a steadying arm on uneven ground. Our body is that trusted old friend. After 60, 70, 80 years of carrying us, it has earned not just our respect, but our active, compassionate consideration. Its plea for a gentler morning rising is not a sign that it is failing, but rather a request for us to adapt our pace to its current rhythm, to honor its accumulated journey. When we spring from bed without thought, we are, in essence, tugging impatiently at that old friend's arm, urging them to hurry when they need a moment to gather themselves. The consequence of such impatience might not be apparent every single time, just as our friend might manage to keep up on most occasions. But there will be times when that sudden tug causes a stumble, a moment of imbalance, and for the body, that stumble can be that critical, momentary lapse in blood flow to the brain we've been discussing. The plea, therefore, is for mindfulness. It's a call to bring our conscious awareness into an act that has become automatic. It's asking us to pause, even for just a minute or two, to allow the internal symphony to adjust its tempo, to ensure all sections are ready before the grand movement of getting upright begins. This pause is not wasted time. It is an investment in safety, in well-being, in the preservation of our precious cognitive function and our independence. The body doesn't ask for much in return for its lifetime of service, nourishment, rest, movement, and increasingly as we age, a deep and abiding attentiveness to its subtle communications. Heeding its plea in the morning is a simple yet profoundly effective way to demonstrate this attentiveness, to say, I hear you, I understand, and I will honor your needs. This act of listening and responding is a cornerstone of aging with grace and vitality, ensuring that our mornings continue to be a time of peaceful renewal, not anxious haste. Sudden jolt. Now we come to the heart of the matter, to the very action, the specific morning mistake, that can, with a sudden jolt, disrupt the body's gentle awakening and, as careful observation and medical wisdom have shown us, indeed multiply, even threefold, the risk of that devastating event, a stroke, for those of us navigating life beyond 60. It is the act of springing from your bed like a startled fawn, bolting upright and swinging your legs to the floor with the unthinking alacrity of youth before your magnificent, intricate circulatory system has had the proper chance to adjust to the profound shift from horizontal rest to vertical demand. This sudden jolt, this rapid transition is the crux of the vulnerability. Imagine, if you will, a delicate ecosystem that has been in serene stillness for hours. Then, abruptly, a seismic shift occurs. The equilibrium is shattered and the system scrambles to adapt. This is akin to what happens within your body. After a night's sleep, your blood pressure is naturally at its lowest point. Your heart rate is slow and steady. Your blood vessels are relatively relaxed. Then, in an instant, by leaping out of bed, you demand a massive and immediate redistribution of blood flow. Gravity pulls the blood downwards, away from your head. and your cardiovascular system must react with lightning speed to counteract this, to pump blood forcefully upwards to ensure your brain receives its uninterrupted supply of oxygen. For a younger, more elastic system, this rapid compensation often occurs without a hitch or with only a fleeting sensation of lightheadedness. But as we've discussed, with age, with the potential for arteries to be a little stiffer, with the possibility of mild dehydration or the influence of certain medications, this compensatory mechanism can be slower, less robust. That sudden jolt, therefore, can create a critical window of a few seconds, or even longer, where the blood pressure in the arteries supplying the brain drops too low. This is known medically as orthostatic hypertension, or postural hypertension, a significant fall in blood pressure upon standing. It is this very state, this temporary but critical reduction in cerebral perfusion, that dramatically increases the acute risk of a stroke, particularly an ischemic stroke, where a clot blocks blood flow, or even a hemorrhagic event if weakened vessels are involved. The danger of this sudden jolt lies in its abruptness. It's not the act of getting out of bed itself that is the enemy, but the way in which it is done. Think of it like starting a finely tuned engine on a cold morning. You wouldn't immediately redline it, would you? No, you would allow it to warm up, to circulate its oils, to come to a state of readiness. Our bodies, infinitely more complex and precious than any machine, require no less consideration. That precipitous movement, that leap from slumber to full upright posture, denies the body this essential period of adjustment. The baroreceptors, those crucial sensors we spoke of, are caught off guard. The heart and blood vessels are given an impossible task: to instantaneously redirect blood flow against gravity without adequate preparation. When this system is already working with the naturally diminished reserves or altered responsiveness that can come with age, the jolt can overwhelm its capacity to compensate effectively. The result can be that transient period of insufficient blood supply to the brain. While a brief dizzy spell might seem minor, it is a clear indication that the brain experienced a moment of oxygen deprivation. And it is precisely these moments, these silent or near-silent ischemic episodes, that can, over time, cause cumulative damage or, in a more acute scenario, trigger a major cerebrovascular event. The tripling of risk is not an arbitrary number. It reflects the significant stress placed upon the cerebrovascular system by such a rapid, unprepared postural change, especially in an older individual who may already have underlying risk factors like hypertension, atherosclerosis, or atrial fibrillation. This is why understanding the mechanics of this mistake is so empowering. It's not about living in fear, but about recognizing a specific, modifiable behavior that can have profound consequences. It's about replacing an unthinking habit with a conscious, life-affirming practice. The power to mitigate this risk lies not in complex medical interventions, but in a simple, mindful shift in how we greet the day. This sudden jolt can be particularly treacherous because its immediate effects might not always be overtly alarming. One might experience a slight graying out of vision, a fleeting unsteadiness, or a moment of mental fogginess, and then feel perfectly fine seconds later. It is easy to dismiss these sensations, to attribute them to simply not being a morning person or getting old, but these are the body's smoke signals, its early warnings that the brain's oxygen supply was momentarily compromised. If these signals are ignored, if the habit of abrupt rising continues day after day, year after year, the risk accumulates. It's like bending a wire back and forth repeatedly. For a while, it seems to withstand the stress, but eventually it weakens and can snap with a seemingly innocuous bend. Similarly, the blood vessels in the brain and the delicate brain tissue itself can be stressed by these repeated, albeit brief, episodes of hypoperfusion. This cumulative stress can contribute to the development or progression of cerebrovascular disease, making a full-blown stroke more likely when a critical threshold is crossed. Perhaps on a morning when one is a bit more dehydrated or when blood pressure is fluctuating for other reasons. The sudden jolt acts as the immediate trigger, the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. It's the acute event superimposed upon a potentially chronic vulnerability. This is why the wisdom passed down by thoughtful physicians, the counsel to rise slowly, is not just casual advice. It is a critical piece of preventative medicine, especially for the magnificent generation that has crossed the threshold of 60 years. It's a call to transform an automatic, potentially hazardous action into a deliberate, protective ritual. The power to diffuse this particular morning threat lies entirely within our own hands, in our willingness to exchange a few seconds of haste for a lifetime of continued clarity and vitality. It's a small price for such an immeasurable reward. Gentle rise. So, having understood the shadow, having seen how a sudden jolt can disturb the morning's peace and pose a genuine threat, what then is the light? What is the path to safety, to continued vitality, to mornings that are truly a gentle unfolding into the day's promise? The answer, my dears, is as simple as it is profound. It is the practice of the gentle rise. It is the conscious, deliberate, and loving act of allowing your body the time it needs to transition gracefully from the realm of sleep to the world of upright activity. This isn't about elaborate rituals or complicated procedures. It is about a mindful shift in habit, a small collection of patient moments that can make an immense difference to your well-being, especially if you have been blessed with 60 or more years of life. The gentle rise begins even before you think of leaving your bed. Upon first waking, before your eyes are even fully open to the light, take a moment. Just lie there. Breathe. Allow your consciousness to fully return to your body, to become aware of your limbs, your breath, the surfaces beneath you. This is not idleness. It is a vital reconnection. Then perhaps begin with small movements. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Gently stretch your arms and legs, still lying down like a cat awaking from a nap, slowly, luxuriously. These small movements begin to signal to your circulatory system that a change is coming, allowing it to prepare, to gently increase its activity without shock. This quiet prelude is the first step in honoring your body's need for a gradual awakening. It's a conversation, a negotiation rather than a demand. It's saying, "Good morning, body. We will rise soon, but let us do it together in harmony." This simple act of patience, of mindful presence before any significant postural change is the cornerstone of a safer, healthier morning, a morning that nurtures rather than startles your precious system. It is the antidote to the sudden jolt, the calm water that soothes the hidden current. The next step in the gentle rise involves a deliberate, staged movement towards an upright posture. Once you've spent a few moments awake and gently moving in bed, the next stage is to slowly push yourself up to a sitting position, with your legs still in the bed, or if you prefer, dangling over the side. And here, my friends, is another crucial pause. Sit on the edge of your bed for at least a full minute, perhaps two. Don't rush this. Let your feet rest flat on the floor if they reach, or simply allow your legs to hang. During this minute, your body is doing incredibly important work. Your baroreceptors are now adjusting to this new, semi-upright position. Your heart rate is adapting. Your blood vessels are constricting as needed to ensure that blood flow to your brain remains steady and sufficient. This pause is not empty time. It is an active physiological adjustment period. You can use this minute to take a few deep, conscious breaths, to look around your room, to offer a silent gratitude for the new day. Perhaps keep a glass of water by your bedside and take a few sips now. Hydration is a dear friend to your circulatory system, especially in the morning after many hours without fluids. This simple act of sitting and waiting allows the initial, most significant gravitational shift to be managed by your body while it is still well supported. It diffuses the abruptness, smooths out the transition, and significantly reduces the likelihood of that dangerous drop in blood pressure that can occur with a sudden leap from lying to standing. Think of it as allowing a diver to decompress slowly after a deep plunge, rather than rushing them to the surface. Your body, after the deep plunge of sleep, needs this gentle decompression to safely meet the pressures of the upright world. This patient pause is a profound act of self-care, a simple investment that yields tremendous returns in safety and peace of mind. Only after you have sat for a good minute or two and you feel steady and clear-headed should you then slowly rise to a standing position. And even then, do it with awareness. Use the support of your bed or a nearby piece of sturdy furniture if you feel the need. Once standing, take another moment. Pause again, feel your balance. Ensure you are not lightheaded or dizzy. If you experience any of those sensations, sit back down immediately and give your body more time. Do not try to push through it. Your body is communicating with you, and it is wise to listen. This entire process of gentle rising, from waking to small movements in bed, to sitting on the edge of the bed, to finally standing slowly, might add, at most, 3 to 5 minutes to your morning routine. 5 minutes. What a small offering of time in exchange for a significantly reduced risk of such a life-altering event as a stroke. What a simple way to honor the vessel that carries your precious spirit. This practice of the gentle rise is not about frailty, it is about wisdom. It is about working in intelligent partnership with your body, recognizing its needs, and responding with kindness and care. It transforms the morning from a potential hazard into a true sanctuary, a time of peaceful, safe, and deliberate transition into the fullness of your day. It empowers you to take control of a significant risk factor, not with medication or complex interventions, but with a simple, mindful adjustment to your daily rhythm. This is the beauty of true preventative care. It often lies in the small, consistent acts of wisdom that we integrate into the fabric of our lives, creating a tapestry of health and resilience that can last a lifetime. Cherish this practice, my dears, for it is a gift you give yourself each and every morning. Sacred vessel. When we speak of these practices, these gentle ways of greeting the day, we are touching upon something far deeper than mere physical mechanics or the avoidance of a single ailment. We are speaking of the profound relationship we have with these bodies, these sacred vessels that house our spirits, our memories, our capacity for love and joy and sorrow and creation. This body is not just a collection of cells and systems. It is the miraculous temporary home for our immeasurable soul. And like any home that is cherished, it requires tending, it requires respect, it requires a listening heart. Especially as this home gathers the patina of years, as it bears witness to the long story of our lives, it asks for a particular kind of reverence. The wisdom of the gentle rise, the attentiveness to the body's plea, these are expressions of that reverence. They are acts of gratitude for the incredible journey this vessel has enabled us to undertake. To care for it in this way, particularly in our later seasons, is not a sign of surrender to age, but a triumphant embrace of the wisdom that age can bring. The wisdom to understand that true strength often manifests as gentleness, true vitality as mindful presence. Our bodies are not our enemies, battling against us with the aches and limitations that time may introduce. No, they are our most steadfast companions, doing their utmost, always, to support our life force. When we learn to listen to their subtle language, to honor their rhythms, to provide what they need for optimal function, we are engaging in a sacred partnership. This partnership is the foundation of holistic well-being, where the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual are not separate entities, but interwoven strands of a single precious existence. Treating your body as a sacred vessel means recognizing that every choice you make, from how you rise in the morning to how you nourish yourself to how you move and rest, is an opportunity to affirm its value, to enhance its ability to carry you forward with grace and resilience. This perspective transforms self-care from a chore into a joyful act of devotion, a continuous celebration of the gift of life itself embodied in this extraordinary form. Consider the journey this sacred vessel has already made. It has carried you through childhood's discoveries, youth's passions, adulthood's responsibilities and triumphs. It has weathered storms, celebrated sunshine, healed from injuries seen and unseen. It has been the instrument of your work, the conduit of your love, the quiet witness to your innermost thoughts and dreams. Every line, every silver hair, every change in its landscape tells a story of a life lived, of experiences accumulated. To now, in the golden afternoon or gentle evening of that life, treat it with anything less than the utmost respect and tender care would be to devalue that entire magnificent history. The morning ritual of a gentle rise is but one small chapter in this larger story of loving stewardship. But it is a significant one, for it sets the tone for how we inhabit our bodies throughout the day. If we begin with harshness, with abruptness, with a disregard for its subtle needs, that pattern can easily ripple outwards, influencing other choices, other interactions. But if we begin with gentleness, with mindfulness, with a conscious act of partnership, we cultivate a state of inner harmony that can support us through all the day's challenges and joys. This body is not merely a machine to be driven until it breaks down. It is a living temple, and like any temple, it thrives when treated with reverence, when its sanctity is acknowledged and honored through mindful action. This understanding can shift our entire perspective on aging. It is not a decline, but an unfolding, a continuous opportunity to deepen our wisdom, our compassion, and our connection to the miraculous nature of our own being. Caring for this sacred vessel becomes a spiritual practice, a way of expressing our gratitude for the incredible gift of existence and our commitment to living that existence as fully and vibrantly as possible for as long as we are graced with breath. The final insight, the deepest wisdom I hope to share with you today, is that this gentle care, this mindful attention to your body, especially in these simple morning moments, is an act of profound self-love. And self-love, my dears, is the wellspring from which all other loves flow. It is the foundation upon which a life of purpose, joy, and resilience is built. When you honor your body's needs, when you listen to its whispers, when you choose actions that protect and preserve its vitality, you are saying to yourself, I am worthy of care, I am deserving of health, my life, my well-being matters. This affirmation, repeated daily in small, tangible ways, strengthens not only your physical health but also your spirit. It dispels the shadows of self-neglect and replaces them with the radiant light of self-respect. And this, perhaps, is the most powerful preventative medicine of all. For when we truly love and respect ourselves, we naturally gravitate towards choices that nurture us, that sustain us, that allow our inner light to shine brightly. The avoidance of a stroke is a significant and worthy goal indeed, but the cultivation of a loving, respectful, and mindful relationship with your sacred vessel offers a reward that extends far beyond the realm of physical health. It enriches your experience of every moment, deepens your connection to life itself, and empowers you to navigate your remaining years not with fear, but with grace, wisdom, and an abiding sense of peace. This body is your only companion from your first breath to your last. Treat it with the extraordinary kindness and reverence it so richly deserves. Make your mornings, and indeed all your moments, a testament to this profound, life-affirming love. That, my beloveds, is a legacy worth cultivating, a wisdom that will illuminate all your days. Life's rhythm. As we draw this reflection to a close, let us remember that life itself is a rhythm, a dance of seasons, of waxing and waning, of activity and rest. And our bodies, these marvelous creations, are intrinsically attuned to these rhythms. The wisdom we've explored today, centered around the simple act of rising gently in the morning, is fundamentally about honoring these natural cadences, particularly as our own life's rhythm matures and evolves. It is about recognizing that the vivacity of youth, with its capacity for rapid acceleration and seemingly endless energy, gives way in the fullness of time to a different kind of strength, a strength found in measured pace, in mindful action, in the deep well of accumulated experience. To fight against this natural evolution is to create discord, to invite unnecessary struggle, but to flow with it, to adapt our habits and expectations with grace and intelligence, is to unlock a profound sense of harmony and enduring well-being. The morning, that daily rebirth, offers us a perfect opportunity to practice this alignment. By choosing a gentle rise, we are not merely avoiding a specific risk, we are affirming our connection to a larger, life-affirming rhythm. We are acknowledging that patience, attentiveness, and kindness are not signs of weakness, but expressions of a mature wisdom, a deep understanding of what truly sustains us. This isn't about diminishing our engagement with life, but about ensuring we can engage with it fully, joyfully, and for as long as possible by safeguarding the precious vessel that makes all engagement possible. Think of the mighty river, how it flows with power and purpose, yet how it also navigates obstacles with a flexible grace, finding its path without needless turbulence. Our journey through the later years can be like that river, strong and serene, if we learn to respect the currents, both internal and external, and navigate them with conscious care. The simple adjustments to our morning routine are like ensuring our vessel is sound, our rudder true, before we set out on the day's waters. This understanding of life's rhythm also teaches us the importance of consistency in our efforts towards well-being. A single act of gentle rising, while beneficial, gains its true power when it becomes an ingrained habit, a natural part of our daily unfolding. It is the steady, consistent application of wisdom that builds the strongest foundations for health and longevity. Just as a single drop of water, repeated countless times, can carve a path through stone, so too can these small, consistent acts of self-care carve a path towards a more vibrant and resilient later life. It's not about grand, heroic gestures performed sporadically, but about the quiet, steadfast commitment to honoring our body's needs day in and day out. This commitment becomes a rhythm in itself, a comforting, life-affirming pattern that supports not only our physical health, but also our mental and emotional equilibrium. When we know we are starting each day with an act of profound self-respect, it sets a positive tone that can carry us through whatever challenges or joys may come. This rhythm of care becomes a source of inner strength, a reminder that we are active participants in our own well-being, capable of making choices that genuinely enhance our quality of life. And as we embody this rhythm, we may also inspire others, our loved ones, our friends, our community, to consider their own relationship with their bodies and the simple yet powerful ways they too can nurture their vitality. The wisdom of a gentle morning then ripples outward, becoming a gift not only to ourselves but to the world around us, a quiet testament to the beauty of living in harmony with life's profound and ever-present rhythms. It is in this dance, this mindful attunement, that we find not only safety but also a deeper, more enduring joy. Ultimately, embracing life's rhythm, especially as we age, is about cultivating a deep sense of gratitude for the journey thus far and a hopeful, proactive stance towards the journey still to come. It's about understanding that each phase of life has its own unique beauty, its own inherent wisdom, its own particular calls to attention and care. The needs of our body at 60, 70, or 80 are different from its needs at 20 or 30, and to acknowledge this is not to mourn what has passed, but to celebrate what is, and to prepare wisely for what can yet be. The practice of a gentle rise, the mindful transition from sleep to wakefulness, is a beautiful embodiment of this adaptive wisdom. It is a daily acknowledgement that we are changing, evolving, and that our habits must evolve with us if we are to continue to thrive. This is not about succumbing to limitations, but about intelligently navigating them, transforming potential vulnerabilities into opportunities for deeper self-awareness and more profound self-care. Life's rhythm calls us to listen, to adapt, to cherish, and to act with intention. By heeding this call, especially in the quiet sanctity of our mornings, we affirm our desire to live each day with as much health, clarity, and joy as possible. We honor the past, embrace the present, and step mindfully into the future, secure in the knowledge that we are doing our very best to care for the precious gift of our lives, respecting the sacred rhythm that pulses within us and all around us. This, my dears, is a path of enduring grace. My dearest ones, this journey through the morning's light and shadows comes to this. Your body is a sacred trust, a miracle deserving of your most tender, intelligent care. That simple, unhurried rising, that patient pause before you greet the day is more than a strategy. It is a hymn of love to yourself. Embrace this wisdom, weave it into the fabric of your dawn, and you gift yourself not just safety, but a profound connection to the grace of your own being. ensuring many more sunrises filled with vitality and peace. And such profound and gentle wisdom. I'd never truly considered the way I get out of bed as something so critical. After listening to this, I felt a deep sense of calm and a new respect for my body's needs as I approach my 70s. Thank you for this beautiful, life-affirming reminder to cherish our mornings and ourselves. That final insight about self-love truly resonated.